Hi everyone, welcome back to Rookie Rebuilds. We know that buying cars from online auctions like Copart can be exciting and profitable, but sometimes what you see is far from what you get. Today we are exposing seller scams in Copart using real example of the cars that one of our customer recently purchased. Let's look into it. Let's look at this car first. It is a 2013 Mercedes-Benz C250 that a customer purchased after getting an access from our account. Let's look at the vehicle detail. The primary damage is minor dent and scratches, which I'll tell you later in the video as well, that stay away from the cars which says minor dent and scratches, because most of the time, and I would say more than 95% of the time, that's not the case. And there is some serious sinister damage hiding underneath the label minor dent and scratches. Odometer says 84,000, which is really good considering the year of the vehicle. Let's dive into the photos. When we look at the photos, the car looks really clean from the outside. Let's look at this. See, the body is really mint. And when we dive into interior photos, it's cleaner than outside. Like, it's immaculate. Like, it looks like it was detailed before sent to auction, or somebody kept it really clean. When you look here, there is this engine light on. I don't know if my customer missed it, or he probably guessed that it would not be something bad and he just bid on it anyways, and he went ahead with a purchase. He bought this car with a maximum bid of $2,400, which, if the car is what it says in the listing, that would be a great deal, because a clean title car with no issues, you just get it for a quick flip. But this is a question that we always need to ask ourselves. Why would somebody sell a car like this in auction, especially Copart auction? Copart auction is notorious for the cars that do not work when you buy them, especially if they are clean title cars. Now, there are many other better auctions where people send their clean title cars which actually work. So if you're getting a clean title car, I would 100% suggest you don't look into Copart for your clean title car. Let's dive into auction time.
Auction
Let me
starting.
play the auction for you. Looks like 2350 was what the car was already bid up to.
New bidder.
The customer put 2400 and nobody else bid against on this car, and 2400 is the amount
Sold on approval.
that the car was eventually sold to. That is another very big red flag. Most of the people, when they buy cars like this, especially if it's a clean title car like this, what they would do is they would go in and check out the car on the lot, or they would run the Carfax, or they would run other resources which I'll later explain in the video, and get in the bottom of it, that why is this car labeled and marked that good being sold in Copart. Looks like my customer did not do any of that, and he really liked the car and he ended up purchasing it. Most of the time when you do that, it's a big gamble. I would say only 5% of the time you would win a car like this, which is actually good, or which is actually how it is listed as. This is a very big scam going on in Copart, where sellers are actually selling the cars like this. I don't know why Copart does not scrutinize it further. They just label it primary minor dent and scratches, nothing else was labeled. Cut short to the time when the car was picked up by the customer. The car was actually picked up by the transporter and it was delivered to his home. The car was not starting at all. He tried his level best. He got a mechanic there. Eventually, he got the car to start, but it had all sorts of major mechanical issues, and the mechanic told him that the car is no good and it almost has a blocked engine and it's pretty much scrap. A car like this, the second question that comes to your mind is, okay, just let me call the Copart and let me tell them that you have listed this car as a clean title car and you have listed this car as run and drive, which according to Copart terminology, it means that the car started under its own power at the time when the car came into the auction, it was put into the gear, and it moved forward. Well, it did not do any of that when my customer picked it up. Um, Copart will not take any responsibility for selling vehicles like this after the purchase. When we reached out to the Copart, they just basically said that the car is always sold in as is condition, and once the car has left the lot, they do not guarantee anything on it. But the car was still listed at Run and Drive, which is not the case. The car neither runs nor drives. It barely runs for like a few seconds, and then it dies. In order to avoid situation like this, the whole purpose of this video is to come across the situations where I can tell you how to avoid situations like this. If the customer would have bought a Carfax report, this is the information that he would be able to see. He would be able to see this wholesale value, which is good, and then he would see the retail value that would basically give him an approximation on how much he would sell the car for, and he would tell the detail of the car. Looking at this car, it looks like the car was purchased and sent into an auto auction back in 2019 as well. And then again in 2024, the car was sold multiple times in an auction. Just by looking at this Carfax report and not even going and checking it in the person, you can tell that this is a red flag car and you should not bid against it. Unfortunately, this is how we learn, but this is the reason that I was putting forward this video, so that I can tell everybody that please make sure to buy the Carfax report, and if possible, go in and check these cars by your own, so that you don't make rookie mistakes like this and you don't bear a financial loss. One other thing that you can definitely do in order to make sure that you pick the right car is just write the VIN number on the Google of the car that you're interested in, and it will tell you exactly if the car has ever been ran in that insurance. Some of those sites are paid, some are unpaid, but you can definitely look that information up. Look at this site. When we ran the VIN on this site, it says seller and it's not mentioned anything. This clearly means this was a dealer car, and if the seller would have just put the VIN number on the Google and went on this site and had seen that the seller list is empty and it's not an insurance car, he would have been able to avoid all of this. Here we go, guys. So as a take-home point, always please make sure that first check the Carfax report, second check the auto auction history by going into different websites and see if the car has ever ran in that insurance, and thirdly, if you really want to be safe, go and inspect the cars yourself, just so that you make sure that you get a good build. Especially if you're getting it to flip, it's very important that you make sure that what you're getting for, and hopefully it's a quick flip. I hope Copart takes serious actions to address these ongoing scams and implement measures to protect buyers in the future. It is frustrating to see this happening, and I truly hope no one else has to go through such an experience. Let's hold them accountable and ensure transparency moving forward. Thanks for watching Rookie Rebuilds.